Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming to the Northwest Pastel Members Show of 2025.
Hey.
I did some research today because we've been here before.
What year was it?
But it was 10 years ago. In 2015, we did a member show here. And so it is great to be back. And I want to thank Tim and his staff, especially Ella, for hanging this incredible show for us. It is so nice. It is so nice to see the doors open here again. This is an incredible asset to the community, and it was closed for a few years, so it is great to be part of keeping this place open and alive. And I hope we have a great show and we can be invited back here. A little bit about the Northwest Pastel Society. We have over 290 members and we represent the Northwest region, which is Oregon, Washington, and Idaho, but 17 other states are represented. And actually, anyone can join for $40 a year. And we host 3 in-person exhibitions. We also have 4 to 6 Zoom meetings and workshops for people to learn about the pastel medium, and 2 to 3 opportunities every year to paint together and paint outs or paint ins, and to learn how to enjoy this dusty medium we call pastel. This is our annual member show, and so one of our missions is to host it in different regions, and so this is why it's taken us 10 years to get back here. But we also try and guarantee at least one piece in the exhibition for anyone who enters. So that is encouraging people to join and to enter this show. This show here holds 102 paintings and is representing, I think, 66 artists. Please make sure that you mingle after this awards ceremony and appreciate, over 100 paintings here. It is very difficult as an organization to find a gallery that will host us that can take over 100 paintings. So we are deeply honored to be here, and I hope you'll enjoy the show. So we have this year as our juror and our workshop instructor, Gail Sibley. Let me tell you a little bit about Gail. She is a professional artist and instructor and holds a BFA from the University of Manitoba and a master's in art history from Queen's University in Canada. However, she is from far away. In fact, she might say Yaman better than any of us. See? She was born and raised in Jamaica, and now enjoys the temperate climate of the Northwest, specifically Victoria, BC, Canada, which is a beautiful place where she lives with her life partner in their 1910 heritage home. Now, Gail is known to be crazy about color with a limited palette. And whether she's painting in soft pastel or in acrylic or watercolor and oil, her focus is on creating a visual extravaganza in color using the smallest number of colors possible, which is a little crazy, right? In fact, she just taught a 3-day unique workshop here behind closed doors over in the workshop space to over a dozen of our members on her tips and tricks and techniques. So in addition to teaching in-person workshops, she also hosts a blog called How to Pastel. She also hosts an art making membership called Ignite and offers a 6-month one-to-one mentoring coaching practice called Accelerant for people who want a deep dive. And you can find her online at gailsibley.com. But she admits that her first love and what brings her most joy is listening to her own soul's call to deepen her own practice of art making. She states that creating artwork that reveals the beauty in the world, even the most ordinary or mundane subjects, is the challenge and the reward. And she also admits that she has two processes. The first process is that she paints what she sees. Again, often the mundane things in life, maybe pears, a vase of tulips, a couple conversing outside in a restaurant, maybe just laundry in the wind. These are the ordinary parts of our lives, yet often invisible until we pay attention to them. And then they're the experiences that make us glad to be alive. The second process is reacting to the artwork itself, which admittedly, as we know as artists, takes a lot more bravery, more determination, and detachment from what is already there. It requires surrender to let the piece lead the way rather than dictating what the outcome should be. This second process, as we all know, takes time. It takes courage and diligence to master. To me, it's almost like a dance between looking, asking and responding, then looking, asking and responding until the work has nothing more to say and the painting is complete. So she encourages her students to create fearlessly and to use color expressively. She says,
I know.
she says, as artists, we see the world differently, and it's this ability to see deeply that we share with the rest of the world. This means interpreting what you see rather than just merely copying it. Her work is showcased and awarded in national and international exhibitions. She is an IAPS Master Circle recipient. She holds a master's signature status at the Pastel Artists of Canada and is a signature member of the Pastel Society of America. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Gail, our juror and judge of the show.
Wow, I'm just like, I'm worn out now. Well, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me to be the juror, judge, and the workshop instructor. I didn't quite know what I was getting into when I said yes, but I'm very honored to have been asked. And I've had an amazing 3 days of workshop, working those students hard. Like, yeah, you don't see my whip, but yeah, it's down here. Now, so that was amazing. And then on top of that, I've got this incredibly difficult, wonderful job of judging this show. And I would say this is probably the most difficult I've ever had because the level of this show is so high, and there are many, there's 100 pieces or 102 pieces. And I think the society should be really proud, and the members should be really proud, because it is an amazing show. So that made my decision making agonizingly hard. Like I say, I like people to be happy. I'm a people pleaser. I want everybody like, yeah. And so I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is gonna be hard. I've got 10 people who are probably gonna be really happy. Anyway, really all I do want to say, and if you don't win an award, you are in this show. Just because you don't win this time, that is not the end of the story. You can't just keep entering. And I want to say, yes, if you enter and your painting is even rejected, and you enter it into another show because you believe in that piece, it can win an award in another show. So I've experienced that. Rejection one, win an award in another. So always keep going, always keep entering, keep painting, get in the show. All right, so should I talk about my process?
Sure.
All right. I'm gonna grab my water. I thought, I don't want this to spill all over this. So how do I choose? Obviously, the first level, I mean, I say obviously, is a level of skill, a level of technique. The elements and principles of art, the base, how does an artist use color, value, line, shape? How do they use contrast? How do they use balance? So all of those parts of art making, I'm thinking about that. What is the draftsmanship of an artist? Especially if a painting is representational, purposely representational, how good is the drawing? I think it's really important to have good drawing skills. Then how, so there's that, those techniques. And then, okay, so you've got this body of work, ticked all those boxes. The next thing is how, now it's relating, it's going to be about my choice. It's not a mathematical formula. You cannot help but be the person who brings your perception, your background, your experience to the painting. You're in a conversation. With that painting, what we talked about, that is a conversation with a painting that's already done by somebody else. So I'm looking for, what is that extra thing? What is the artist trying to say to me? How are they saying it differently, maybe, from somebody else? How are they bringing a subject that I might not have noticed? How are they bringing it to me and making me notice it? How is that painting making me feel? How does it make me feel? And then what is pulling me back? What painting keeps pulling me back? So the initial walk around, I have my long list of 26 paintings out of 100. I'm like, oh, I guess I need some work and I need to get those down. So that was hard. So then I get it down to 13. And then I'm second guessing myself, like, maybe I should, no, okay, and then one goes back in, and one comes back out, and then, okay, got my 10. Okay, now I'm gonna put them in order. So this whole idea of ordering, it's not a horse race, but here we are. So that is very difficult, but it's really, for me, it was, and I've walked around the show a lot, and I've looked at these paintings very closely, each and every one. And it's really, what's the painting that just keeps scratching me, and I've got to go back and check it out, So that is really, that's how I come to these 10 pieces. So how do we do this?
Well, we're going to start from honorable mention, go up to best of show. And before we do that, I do want to recognize a few people that made this show possible. And so our show chairs, can you come up or at least raise your hands? So that would be Megan and Laura. It's a Herculean effort to organize, plan, and execute any level of show. And it also takes the support of the whole board. And so board members, can you also come up?
Yeah.
Or at least raise your hands.
No, come up.
So
Deb, we can see you.
Secretary. Okay, Sarah's treasurer, Jan, and who else is it? Who am I missing here? Well, right. Right, Darcy. Sorry, Darcy. So thank you, board members, for also making the behind-the-scenes work happen. Okay. So first honorable mention goes to Tim Blackwell for Rising Tide #2. He should be here.
Okay. So not to even look at people's names, very hard to do, but I really try and do that. But this one was called Rising Tide 2, and I was like, oh, what does that mean? And that's another thing. How does an artist start getting me questioning what's going on? So, and everybody can have their own interpretation. But for me, it was really about this beautiful nature and this kind of a little bit sad building but the glory of nature was just sort of taking over. So I felt like this was coming through in this painting. So.
The next honorable mention award goes to the painting Sunrise and Mist by Denise Page. She's not able to attend, but we can hear about the painting.
So this was, these are the ones that we've just seen are quite small paintings. And sometimes I feel like small paintings we might not see them. We might not see them. And every time I would walk past this, I was like, I just had to always stop. I just found myself stopping. It's a simple idea, clouds, very low horizon line with these trees. And and personally, I think clouds are quite difficult to do, especially to try and get all those nuances and that feeling of vapor and this is just moving. And every time I looked at this, I just would start thinking, I could feel this happening. And the mist was rising and the dark trees, this lovely dark little strip of value here, dark value, dark, middle, and light. And the mist rising, and I could just imagine it and be there. And then, of course, the discovery of maybe this is a sunrise. So, and I love that it was cropped. It has a lovely long horizontal. It could have been an upright. It's about clouds. It could be a vertical. So I love this length that gives me more of this. And of course, just the colors. Yeah, I'm sure I've forgotten something. But anyway, and again, I kept going back to it. So.
Our third honorable mention goes to a painting called Kuspit Sunset by Elizabeth Spana. And I don't think she's able to attend either.
Okay. So there are a lot of amazing sunset paintings in this show. I mean, they just take your breath away. Sunsets take our breath away. I think sunsets are quite difficult to do so they don't look cliche or kitschy, that sort of, oh, those are pretty. So it was difficult. Not that I wanted to necessarily choose a sunset, but they were all beautiful. But then when I saw this one, not keen on the color of the map. Anyway, when I saw this one, and I thought, I have seen this sky. This isn't your sort of normal sunset. It's that, and I'm sure you've all seen it, when the skies are, and all of a sudden there's this ripple, and it's like the clouds are on fire. And I thought, I think that's it's a challenge. So first of all, I was thinking, this is a challenging subject. I thought then the crop, like it's about this clouds. It's not about land, it's not about something else, it's about the clouds. And it rises up. It's a little tiny piece of land here, I think. And this beautiful, and so these spaces, this mass, and then this gorgeous kind of blue dark, how the sky is, the sun has gone down. It's just on those clouds. So I just kept thinking, I just had to keep going back and how did she do that? And then this idea of almost going to it's moving a little towards an abstraction, and yet still retaining that feeling of reality. Like I can tell those are clouds, but the design of this feels almost like an abstract. And that's what I really, all those things.
Mention award goes to a painting called Fishing Cabin by Janice Wall.
This is interesting because Janice has two other beautiful paintings. And And yeah, they're just, like, oh, they're so beautiful. And then, like I say, I went around, I come back in the morning, I go around, then come back in the evening, go around. And then this one just kept saying, like, and it's different if you see some of her other work, more representational. I love representational work. I also like when people are pushing that envelope a little. And so, yeah, this is called Fishing Cabin. So you see the building, there is a building. There's trees. There's such bold, confident mark making. So I'm always sort of impressed by that. Mine is very, I layer a lot and build, and this is just like, yeah. And then the balance between punches of color and then this muted, low intensity, this beautiful balance between which pops these color and then the light up here. And how I always look at how an artist takes me around the painting. Do I just get stuck somewhere, or how do they take me around? And I'm like, yeah, there's this light and this light, and there's this light and lines, the use of lines. When you look at this closely, how this red comes down, I'm pulled around this painting, I'm pulled into the painting. So there's sorry, I'm going on a lot here. But there's the surface movement of our eye. And then there's the illusion, of course, into a painting. Yeah. Go on for a moment.
Mention award goes to a painting called Finding the Way by Darcy Roberts.
So, one of the things I was saying was, how does an artist show me something? How do they point out something that may be so familiar and make a painting from it? And for me, this is what happened here. I was like, everybody drives by this on a highway. Like, there's this is sort of just the landscape of a particular place, wherever that is. And so what I saw in this was, of course, the beautiful design, the value pattern, because I'm always on and on about value pattern, as my students know this 3 days. So I was looking at this, taking an ordinary, nobody would ever look at this, pretty much scene, and making a piece of art out of it. And I always, I'm in awe when people do that, because they're showing us, they're reflecting, artists reflect back to the world what they see. And so this is what's happening here. And also making this ordinary scene so important, it's this big. It's not like, oh, it's really important. So I think, look, it's this, yeah, I'm important. And so just the movement again, this is obviously sort of the star, but it's not too flashy. Because and as you look more closely, this beautiful, less intense color, muted, more bright, but soft. And when you come up and look more closely, you'll see, and my students, I'm not big on just gray. I love grays that are made with color, and you'll see beautiful greens and purples, and it's all so subtle. And then this gorgeous texture of grass. I'm in the grass. I could be on the highway, but I'm just the view and the softness of those hills. Yeah. So I was just like, how did she do that? That was so good, So again, bringing the world to us and saying, look, this is worth making a painting out of. Yeah.
Our next award, and these are cash awards now, it's our Jurors Award, and it goes to a painting called Welcome to My Home by LaDonna Kruger.
So, this was another painting, I remembered when I was jurying it, and I was just, I just was the colors, the marks. So then I saw it in real and was like, oh yeah, I just still love it. And then I thought, I'm just going to say, what, I really just like it. I just like it. All right. So thinking about the elements of art, how do we make a piece of art? We have the line, color, shape, value, texture. And I thought, how are these shapes? How has she arranged this? She's cut this is about this house and this home, wherever it is, whatever it is. Well, it's called Welcome to My Home. But like I say, didn't know that at the beginning. The way that the value shapes have been made, this beautiful middle value, this middle value. I'm not really sure what this is, but it's the way it's spaced. So this is a painting that is triggered or comes from a representation of a house. We can tell that, but it's gone way past that. And it's very abstracted, and yet I can still see house and these lovely dark, little areas. But this painting for me is also about just, I love pastels. I love pastels, and I'm going to put this on, and I'm going to make the marks, and I'm going to just revel in the color and the linear mark making quality of pastels. So I feel that is part of this. The other thing is, I was thinking, well, it's a house. Is it crumbling? Where is this? Is this in Provence? Oh, welcome to my home. And so then I started thinking, welcome to my home. It looks kind of a little bit messy and not like, ooh, look at my home. And so then I thought, is there another story underneath? And I'm like, oh, well, and I won't, tell you exactly what I was thinking, but I thought there is another story that is told to me by the title. And I think we can all make whatever that story is. But I like when a painting also gives me something else to think about. There's another underlayer going on there. So,
our Jane Quigg Memorial Award goes to a painting named Lit Chick by Bithia Berman.
All right. This artist, it's interesting for me to go, this is super, like realistic, like it's tight, not tight in a negative way, but meticulous. It's meticulous. Whereas the one we just saw is just more. And so, but I love both. I kept pulling back to this one because the idea of this one object giving, again, it's put on stage. It's actually on red velvet, so it is on stage, and making this sort of old and machine. And when you come close, you can see the worn metal, the sort of slidey bit of the ribbon. Remember these typewriters? Anyone actually remember these? The crispness of this paper rolled in, that rolling thing. The papery, those what are those things called? Those keys, thank you, with the paper. And then you look closely and you just see each one has its letter in perfect perspective on there. Oh my God, how does she do that? So that, just the meticulous, beautiful attention to those details that makes this one object, doesn't have to be cluttered with a million different things. This is on stage, look at me. And then there's this, it's typed, Lit Chick. I'm like, again, what does that mean? There's some humor in here. Is this the beginning of something? What? So I love, again, that it was pulling me and got me questioning what is going on beyond what we see. So that I was pulled back to this. And it's interesting because usually I would say to students, be very careful when you put text in because it'll grab your attention. However, in this, there's so much more going on that the corona, I didn't actually even see it until I was really looking at it. So that text didn't just go popping out. So just, yeah. Anyway.
Okay, now we're at the top 3 awards. This next award is a cash award as well, $500 cash award, Director's Award. It goes to the painting called Abundance by Jane Okla. This the
You're like, what? Oh, you're welcome. Well, beautiful painting. Okay, so another, a still life with more things in it as opposed to the one typewriter. I again, I just kept getting pulled back to this, and there's many parts of this that I thought made it such a successful painting, and I think it's easy when you have a lot of one thing to give them equal opportunity. And this painting is like there's a spotlight right here, and everything else is a little bit more in the dark. As when we're close, we don't see it. When we're farther away, I feel like there's a spotlight, and then everything else gets a little bit pushed back. They're all there. These are beautifully done, such confident strokes again. And yes, there's a lot of orange, but then as I come in closer, this is, getting closer to the painting, I see these just yummy pinks in there. And the beautiful blue-green, warm green, cool greens going on the bag, this kind of crinkly bag, framing them. And this light that helps me, the idea of moving around a painting, a picture plane, I'm taken on this journey here, and then this, and I'm like, oh, so these little light spots take me around, and there's something here. So the texture of the fruit, the crinkly paper, the movement, the emphasis, very strong emphasis, very strong contrast, tells me where I should be looking and then where I should be going. So yeah, and the beautiful color, of course.
Our President's Award for $750 cash award goes to the painting called Cara Cara Oranges by Megan Valdine.
Wow. What can I say? Color, of course, the color pops out at us and talks to us very easily. So it's, you can't help but look at this. But then what is it? There has to be more than beautiful color. So for me anyway. There's many things. So I love the cropping. I love that this painting is about these oranges. So rather than give us a whole bunch of other context, we don't need the context and so we can be very we can get close and intimate with these oranges. And then we have this incredible reflection that is there, but doesn't take away from this. So they're not fighting with each other. This is just saying something more about these oranges. And then there's also, so I'm always amazed and kind of like, oh, cast shadows and reflections happening at the same time. So I feel like, oh yeah, there's this cast shadow, and there's a little bit of cast shadow here, but it's also reflection. So there's play of reflection and cast shadow, there's a sheen, and so I love that. I love that the simplicity of this background. It's not boring though. It's got a little bit dark here, beautiful little dark, this darkness, how everything is supporting this, and yet, this is so beautifully done. There's something else I was going to say. It's just left me. And then kind of the limited palette. The limited palette. More! Tell me more! Orangey, purpley. It's like almost like the two color thing we did today, right? So, yeah.
Take a picture. The last and final award. Thank you for your patience. And we know we've been long-winded here. but I hopefully, it's been
Hopefully
educational. Best of show for 2025 member show goes to a painting called Looking Glass Creek by Jill Story.
Again, landscape. To make a landscape special, or just more than, takes something, right? So what I love, like I say, I just can't, because choosing all the awards. What's the order? The dark. So the value structure, the dark and the light, the feeling. I really feel like I'm here. I feel the wetness and the shadow and the cool of this painting, the stillness of the water, and then the ripple of the water. And then what always gets me with this painting, I'm like, what? If you look close, so from far away, you see the representation, right? You can see rocks and trees and things. Yeah? Okay. When you come close, you see just marks. There's no blending, there's no detailing. These are just strokes that are put in the right place. They have the right color, they have the right value. And I like how, and then there's just this, and I'm like, what? And then, so there is this that I'm amazed at. Then that idea of the movement around the painting, I go everywhere in this painting. I go, the artist has helped me move from light to light to light. If this wasn't here, maybe I would stay up here. But this beautiful soft light, and I go everywhere. I poke around in the corners, and I love when so I look more deeply. I look more at this painting. The rocks are done so beautifully. They're like that glistening. They're wet. I'm going to slip on them, and so it just kind of just. I was like, wow, how do they do that? So, yeah, there we go. Nice.
So this concludes our award ceremony. Please feel free to mingle, grab some food, grab some refreshments, walk the show, tell all your friends. The show will be up for the rest of the month, coming down on 28th. So thank you for coming. Thank you all.